Today's video lesson is Chapter 2, Lesson 1A. We're going to talk about exponents. Here is an exponent, this tiny little 2, and it's going to be next to a big number like the 5. The big number 5 is called the base. Like if you are playing baseball and you step on the base, or you're playing softball or kickball, that's the base. Or you're safe when you get to home base. The 2, the tiny 2, is called the exponent. All right, the book is going to give you some expressions, some multiplication problems, and they want you to write each multiplication problem using an exponent. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 of these 2's. So 2, whatever's written here is the base. X is the base, 2 is the base, X is the base, 1/2 is the base, X is a base, Y is a base. Whatever's written here is the base. Remember up here, this guy was the base. So I'm going to write a 2. Then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you count, that becomes the exponent, 2 to the 5th. X is the base, count 1, 2, 3. 3 is the exponent. 2 is the base on this next one, and X. So I have 2 bases, a 2 and an X. How many of 2's are there? There's 3 2's. And how many X's are there? There's 4 X's. 2 to the 3rd, X to the 4th. Notice that I smush them together and I don't have a dot any longer. The 1/2's. 1/2 is my base. I'm going to put it inside of parentheses and then count 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 of them, and I put a tiny 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one, they're all out of order. So like I've got an X here and here and here, but then I've got a Y here and here, and I've got a 4. Well, numbers always come first, so I'm going to write 4. I'm going to smush it next to my X, and I'm going to smush it next to my Y. 4XY. But how many X's do I have? If you count, I have 3 X's. How many Y's do I have? 2 Y's. 4X to the 3rd, Y squared. All smushed together, numbers are always first. Even if the number's in the back, numbers always go first. Numbers go before letters. If you ever have a negative, you have to keep the parentheses. If you don't keep the parentheses, it becomes something different. So keep the parentheses, -4 squared. -4 is the base, and I have 2 of them. All right, part of your homework will ask you to evaluate. This verb is just fancy for find the answer. So they will all start off looking like this. They'll have exponent. If you want to do some scratch work, or you can do it in your head. So I don't always say that, but if you want to do it in your head, no calculators, but you can do it in your head. And then final answer is what they're wanting over here. 3 to the 3rd. What does that mean? It means 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. The next question, -3 is inside the parentheses, so I have 2 -3's. -3 twice. 2 negatives make a positive. 3 times 3 is 9. Again, if you want to do this in your head, if you don't want to write this down, it's fine. You can just go straight to the final answer. 3/4 4 times. So I have 3/4 times another 3/4 times another 3/4 times another 3/4. Well, I've got to do nothing can cross out diagonally, so I have to do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. I have to do 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. You can either do these one at a time. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3 is 81. You can also do it in groups. 3 times 3 is 9. This 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. Our numerator is 81. I can do 4 times 4, that answer times 4, that answer times 4. Or I can do these 2 4's make 16, and these 2 4's make 16. So I think I'll do them one at a time. 4 times 4 is 16. Times 4 is 64. 64 times 4 is 256. All right, this next question, 9 squared means 9 times 9, which is 81. So that's how you evaluate. Evaluate means find the final answer by doing these multiplication problems, either in your head or on paper. Sometimes we have a lot of scratch work. All right, there you'll also have questions that say evaluate, which means find the final answer. They'll give you a math problem that has variables, and then somewhere they'll tell you what the variables mean. So in this case, A is the number 3. So when you see A, it's really a 3. When you see a B, it's going to be 5. So this B is going to be 5. So you rewrite the question, 3 squared plus 5 to the third. Because A was 3, and B was 5. So you replace the purple stuff with purple and the pink stuff with pink, and then we do the actual math. 3 squared, remember that means 3 times 3, 3 times 3. And 5 to the third, that means 5 times 5 times 5. These two 5s make 25. Now I have to do 25 times 5, which is 125. 125 plus 9 is 134. This looks a lot like order of operations, where we write it, we rewrite it, we come down, and it almost looks like that upside down triangle. So make your work be neat and organized, working down, working down, working down until you have the final answer. Scratch work is always okay, just push it off to the side. All right, let's try this another problem. This time, the question is going to be A minus B inside of parentheses squared. Remember, A is still 3, B is still 5. So when I rewrite this, I'm going to say 3 minus 5, and that answer gets squared. Well, 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Negative 2 squared really means negative 2 times negative 2, positive 4. Notice I worked down the paper. It looks like an upside down triangle. Order of operations, I did my subtraction first and then my exponent at the end because it was outside the parentheses. All right, for your Google Classroom questions, I'm going to give you a question that looks like this: 4 times 4 times 4, and ask you what that looks like with an exponent. Well, with an exponent, it's 4 to the third, but you can't type 4 to the third in. There's no way to get in Google Classroom form, you can't get the little tiny 3 pushed up there. So in that question, what you do is you type in a 4. Then there's a caret button. Caret button is like an upside down half of a triangle, part of a triangle, and then you would type in a 3. So when you see this, or when I see this, I'm going to know that that means that's the way you type in 4 to the third power, 4 to the third. I think that caret button is on the 6 key. The number 6, find the number 6 on your keyboard, and I think this symbol is on that 6 key button. All right, so I'd like you to tell me what this guy would look like with an exponent, what would this problem look like with exponents, and what is this question as a final answer. So I've already given it to you with an exponent, 8 squared. What would the final answer be? Good luck.